We're just a couple days away from round 2 of Giants versus Eagles in the 2025 season, and we've got some major news to discuss that will have an impact on this football game. Before we do that, we are in a subscriber battle with our rival channel here at Chat Sports, Eagles Now, hosted by my guy Chase Sr. They have challenged us to see which channel can pick up more subscribers this week. So, if you bleed Giants blue, you want to beat the Eagles again, hit that sub button right now. You are watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. The New York Giants enter this ball game as 7.5-point underdogs, and the total over-under is 43.5. The Giants, they actually get some good news and some bad news prior to this matchup. Let's start with the good news, and it circles around the Eagles injury report. And I want to make this clear. I am not happy that players are hurt. I want them to be full strength, because when we beat them again, I want to say we beat you at your best. But the facts are the facts. The Eagles could be down some of their best players, and that is going to help the New York Giants get a win. I'm not rooting for them to be hurt. I want them to play. But if A.J. Brown does not play, like he hasn't practiced on Wednesday or Thursday, that would be a major boost to the Giants. Also, their starting center, Cam Jurgens, he did not practice on Wednesday, and he did not practice on Thursday. So A.J. Brown hasn't practiced this week due to a hamstring injury, and Cam Jurgens, their starting center, has not practiced due to injury. I talked to my guys over at Eagles Now, and I said, do you think they're going to play? And they said, well, I don't know about A.J. The hamstring is tricky, and they have a bye next week, so they could essentially kind of just hold off on some of those injuries. And they told me this important stat. No Eagle has played after missing the first 2 practices of the week in a game. So if you missed the Tuesday practice, or you missed the Wednesday practice, and you missed the Thursday practice, through the first 7 weeks of the season, you will not and have not played for the Eagles. Now that can change, obviously. But if A.J. Brown can't go, especially with the Giants being a little bit hurt at the corner position, that's good news. And I hate even saying that. I'm not championing or celebrating victories via injury, but the facts are the facts. A.J. Brown's one of the best in the business, and he was awesome. And he delivered the knockout blow against the Vikings last week, where he had 4 grabs for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and over 30 yards per catch. And you could see the chemistry between A.J. and Jalen Hurts starting to build. Their dynamic is a little bit weird. They kind of clash, but it works out. It got him a Super Bowl at Philly. And with the Giants being hurt at corner, which we'll talk about Paulson and Adebo in a second, if you take away Jalen Hurts' best weapon, that's only beneficial for the New York Giants as well. Also, they could be without Cam Jurgens, their center, who became a star last year in the National Football League. He is the 13th highest graded center by Pro Football Focus this year. He has the 9th best run block grade via PFF, and he's 18th in pass block grade. So he's a really good player. And the Giants, they're going to win this game. It's going to be because of their defensive line, which means you might be able to go up against their backup center, Brett Toth, who actually started at left guard for the Eagles against the Giants on that game a couple of Thursdays ago when they had Dickerson, their starting left guard, be hurt. So Toth can play left guard, he can play center, but he is no Cam Jurgens. And if the Eagles are thin and beat up on the interior offensive line, that's another area the New York Giants should dominate. Bad news, Adoree Jackson did not practice for the Eagles on Wednesday, and he did not practice on Thursday, which means he's likely out, which means they're going to have to play someone who's actually good at football, because Adoree Jackson is not that anymore. I say that somewhat joking. You look at their corner depth chart, Quinyon Mitchell, he's going to be back. Cooper DeJean is going to play. And I was told Jacorian Bennett, who is expected to come off IR this week and play, could start in the spot of Adoree Jackson. So you could see Bennett, Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean as the 3 corners on the field for Philly. And they're also going to be getting back Jalen Carter as well. He did not play in that Thursday night matchup against the Giants. The Giants were able to run the ball down the throat of the Philadelphia Eagles. Still going to be able to do that, or you still would like to see them do that, but it's going to be tougher when Jalen Carter is there. Even though I don't think he's a very good human being, he is a good football player. And it'll make life tougher for John Michael Schmitz, who's expected to play this week, as well as Greg Van Roten and John Runyon. So the Eagles getting a little bit healthier on defense, but could be out A.J. Brown and Cam Jurgens on offense. So there's that. If you want to beat the Eagles, hit that thumbs up icon. If you want to street sweep the Eagles this year, I think I saw a stat. They haven't swept the Eagles since the 2007 season, excuse me. They haven't swept the Eagles since 2007. If you want that to happen, hit that thumbs up icon right now. We'll get to the bad news for the New York Giants, and it comes on their injury report as some of their best players on defense are hurt, and they are a little bit thin at those spots. We'll break that down, but first, get hooked up with our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. Easy and exciting daily fantasy sports. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, if you make the right choice, you can get paid. So download the app, create an account, and use that promo code CLNS. And when you play your first $5 lineup, they're going to give you $50 in lineups instantly. But you got to use that promo code CLNS. It's America's #1 fantasy sports app. Pick, predict, and play. You can win up to 2,000 times your money. It's super easy to play. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply pick more or you simply pick less on the players' projected stats. For Thursday Night Football, I'm going with more than 1.5 passing touchdowns for Justin Herbert, and I also got Justin Jefferson getting in the end zone. These would be my payouts, so pretty good stuff right there. Get hooked up with PrizePicks. Shout out to them for sponsoring today's show. Download the app, create an account, use the promo code CLNS, and get $50 in lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Shout out to them for sponsoring today's video. All righty, on the injury front for the New York Giants, they are pretty beat up on defense. Paulson Adebo did not practice on Thursday. Brian Burns did not practice on Thursday. DJ Davidson did not practice on Thursday. Chauncey Golston did not practice, and neither did Jevon Holland. And if you're out, Adebo and Holland, you're going to be razor thin at the corner and safety spot. Brian Burns said on Wednesday he is going to play, but he did not practice on Thursday. I trust him. I believe him, but there's only so much you can do if you are seriously hurt. I am worried about Paulson Adebo and Jevon Holland and whether they're going to play or not. Dan Duggan saying Burns, Adebo, and Holland not spotted at practice again. Burns said yesterday he's playing Sunday. I'm more pessimistic on the DBs. So Dan Duggan, insider for the Giants, the best in the biz. That is what he has to say on that. If they are out, man, that's going to be brutal, and that's going to be tough to overcome. These are your 2 big free agency splashes this offseason, and while I don't think they've lived up to the potential of the contracts that they have signed, they are major upgrades from the people that the Giants have behind them. That will have to make Cordell Flott turn into CB1. I think he's ready for that opportunity, but that also means you might have to see Deonte Banks out there, which makes me want to throw up. Maybe it's Art Green who gets the start over Deonte Banks, and that's really all you got. Maybe you look to the practice squad to bring somebody up, but the Giants' corners outside of Cordell Flott have been shaky. Adebo has had his moments of playing good. Drew Phillips is the biggest boomer bust player in the NFL right now. It's either he's blowing up a screen at the line of scrimmage, picking the ball off, or he's not getting his head around and getting called for a pass interference or defensive contact. So there's a reason you signed Adebo, and if you don't have him, it's going to be tough. And at safety, it's going to be just as tough. You'll probably see more Dane Belton, who I actually thought played pretty well in that game against Denver. Bo Braid, that's all you got. You're not in a good spot there. And Tyler Nubin, I'm not so sure that he is an impact player at this point. So if you're down those 2 guys, it could be tough. And even if they do play, and even if A.J. Brown does or does not play, this is going to be a tough one for the New York Giants. I can promise you this. The Eagles are embarrassed by the way they got their asses kicked by the Giants. What was it? 17 days ago at this point? They're looking for revenge, like to put it simply. They're looking to let you know you're still little bro, we're still the big dogs, and we are the Super Bowl champs. But if you go and win this game, that could change a lot about the relationship between the two teams. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be ready to roll. I think it's going to be a physical football game, NFC East style. And it's always tough to beat someone twice in a season, let alone twice in the span of just 3 weeks. So going to be tough for the Giants, but I do think they can win this game if they play the way they have been able to play over the last couple of weeks. If you want that to happen, if you want the Giants to beat the Eagles, smash that thumbs up icon for me, and make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, @MarshallGreen_.